Almost forgot to unmute my mic. Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Tale of Two Lions, episode 4. Thank you all so very much for coming swinging by. How y'all doing tonight? Welcome, welcome. As you can see, we are a cast member down. Lexi is dealing with a destructive migraine. Anyone who's been through one of those knows they bad. So it's fine. It's cool. We're all good. Everything's good around here because I still have 4 of the greatest, most wonderful, most incredible players here to put on an incredible story for all of you. So there's literally nothing to worry about. Okay? Literally nothing to worry about. But before we get into all that, let me go ahead and hit it off the top with the usual thing. Let me go ahead and thank our sponsors. Our first sponsor, of course, the game we're actually playing with, the system we use, the Valor RP system by Valorous Games. If you hit an exclamation point, Valor in chat, you will get links to the Valorous Games website where you can buy the game if you're interested as you watch us play. You can get a link to their Twitter where you can follow them. You should. You can also get a link to their current Kickstarter where you will see that they are currently trying to get a setup going for reprinting their book, fixing some errata, fixing some errant nonsense, and just cleaning it all up and making it look good. We want to support that. So there's your links that are important there. Valor, real quickly, is a D10 system. It is clean. It is simple. It is very fun. It allows for a lot of creative expression, which is really great when you're dealing with a party of DMs. Because you just end up like handing out Valor points like it's candy. I hope y'all still have your Valor points, by the way, because they didn't go away, all the ones you got from last session, and you might need them. I'm just saying. And it's very good. It's very anime. It fits the Final Fantasy Tactics aesthetic of our game absolutely perfectly, and you all should absolutely support it. Our other sponsor, you can see the little blue box here below me. That would be Adventuring Kit, a virtual tabletop. It is system agnostic. If you hit exclamation point adventure in chat, you will get a link to Adventuring Kit's Twitter, where you can follow them, keep abreast of updates and what have you, as well as to their website, where you can play around. It's super clean, super slick, super effective, and it's really great for working with other players, especially across distance. The base set for up to 5 players, counting the DM, is free. If you want more than that, there is a premium setup. However, you can use code GameDad in all caps for 25% off of a premium membership. Today, I want to bring up the slightest little thing, but it's really one of my favorite things about the whole website, okay? Up at the top, one of the very few things in the interface, you have a treasure chest, and then right next to it, you have a die, specifically a D20, with an arrow next to it. You hit that arrow, it pops out into a full dice tray, one of every kind of standard dice, okay? You've got D4 up through D20, and then to the left of the D4, there's 3 little dots. And if you hit those, it can expand out to give you a menu where it shows you things like rolling in a dice tray, like what you see underneath me, to keep the best roll out of whatever, to add or subtract to your rolls, type out a complex roll, whatever it may be. But what I love, and there's a reason why I call it out, it actually shows a greater thing about it. When you hit the little 3 dots, they turn like a crank. Like they literally do this and the whole thing extends underneath. And then when you hit them again, they go like this and it pulls up like it's pulling a crank. And it makes my childlike brain happy. But also the key thing there is you can actually see there is no freaking lag with this site. It's smooth and it is fast, which is great when you're in the middle of combat and you're trying to roll things and you're trying to get information across very quickly. It makes everything a whole lot easier. So, before I move on, one last thing. Every week, we've been doing this thing where, very specifically, we call out a third sponsor. Okay? Someone we want to support, someone we love, someone we appreciate. And this week, if you could do me a favor, if you can hit exclamation point Desi, that is DESI, I want to give a focus to the wonderful folks of Desi Quest. They are putting on something phenomenal. They are doing an all Desi AP, high production value. It is going to be a top of the line performance. It is going to be a top of the line situation, and everyone in it is absolutely magnificent. They have actually hit their goal, their base Kickstarter goal. I want to run that number up. I want to see them hit all their stretch goals, be able to get a much longer series, be able to get guests in there, be able to get to do all these incredible things, because I promise you, it is one of the most talented groups of people in the space, and they absolutely deserve support. And And it's a Kickstarter where you can just hop in there, throw them a couple bucks. I promise you, if everyone who thought, my $3 isn't going to help, gave $3, they'd hit all their stretch goals and then some. So please, if you can, throw them a little support. They absolutely deserve it. But that's enough of me just going ahead and just flimble-flambling up here for 5 minutes. Wally, let the people know who you are.
Excuse me. Sup, y'all? It's me, Wally, your favorite non-binary slime best friend on the internet. You can find me on Twitter, WALLE132, like the cute little Disney robot, where I'm talking about all the shows that I'm usually on. That's where I'll just let you go to my Twitter page and find out all the stuff that I'm doing. I'll shout out GGK Game Nights, who are every Thursday. I play Monster of the Week with them. It's a fantastic game. Check me out, and all the other great people are there. Tonight, I am playing Virgil, your favorite monk dragoon. I am ready for emotional damage tonight.
I hate that I don't have my Steam Deck set for this set of pages because I didn't want to accidentally press anything and cause issues, but I specifically have an emotional damage button.
Oh, that's perfect.
I wish I could have hit that.
But yeah, that's me. I know. Let's toss it over to DK.
Hi, hello, that's me. I'm Abaddon Kilbride IV, and my name's real long, so folks call me DK to save time, so you should probably do that. You can find me at Abadarlings on Twitter, doing my best to become the confessional poet of TTRPGs, by which I mostly mean sharing my every thought with you against your will. So if you're into that, come find me there. You can catch me on Friday at 5 p.m. PST on Going Critical for Farewell Yellow House, a very, very cool game of Call of Cthulhu that's going to be running for a couple of weeks. Today I'll be playing Salacia Farcyrus, the Dragonkin monk, who is didn't really enjoy the last few seconds of the last episode, so we'll see how she does.
Yeah, we've been making memes about it. Me and Wally have. Not even gonna lie to you, we've literally been memeing Salacia. I also went ahead and memed Feldspar while we're at it. And speaking of Feldspar, yeah, I use that as my segue.
Hello, I'm Persephone, aka Persephoros. You can find me wherever Persephoros are found. And I am playing Feldspar this year, who doesn't say things like dick, cunt, and whore. She's very polite and proper, and it's not proper to do that. So you never hear her say things like piss, cuck, fuck, shit. Dick licking, cunt waffle, juice waffle. You know, that sort of thing.
Well, there you go. Hey, Sin, you want to save me here?
Save you from what? You seem to be doing just fine.
I have no words left. Can you just save me?
Sure. Hi, I'm your resident Cinziac and Sunflower person, doing the tabletop things like this, and also playing Metroidvanias and RPGs here on Twitch. And I am Zeros, your resident redacted Twilight person. You're not the only person with interesting titles this evening.
I guess that's one way that works. Also, obviously, she is not here tonight, but we do still want to shout out Lexi, our resident machinist that she plays, Fallon. Lexi goes by Black Girl Mage on Twitter and on Twitch, and you definitely want to give a follow to her. She is an incredible performer. She is an upcoming star. She's worked with incredible people, and we're just very blessed and thankful that we have her on the show. If you could hit !players in chat, by the way, if for whatever reason you're not following any of the people in the cast, I went ahead and threw links to all of their Twitters, to all of their Twitches. You should do that. Just saying, do that. So, there you go. But, we're here to play some games. And as we're here to play some games, we're diving back into the world of Ivalice, where last week, our heroes, after a harrowing battle, they spent a whole day and several days more traveling west to Galleon. They traveled to Garland specifically, where, after investigating in the Garland library, and after learning more about their foe, they believe they found a path or maybe several paths of how to progress. But are they ready to take those steps? We're going to find out on tonight's episode. Because our heroes were last left having opened the door to a figure, a very concerning figure, a robed figure, a man with a deep blue robe, or you assume a man with a deep blue robe, a white mask with a blue line stretching along his face, wearing some sort of padded gear. And he looked at the party as they opened the door and told them, "Don't fear the Reaper."
Okay, but that doesn't say who you are.
Who's at the door?
I don't know, some guy just saying, "Don't fear the Reaper."
Don't fear the Reaper.
And I step to the side to let everyone see this.
Are they the Reaper?
The figure steps into the room with all of you and says, "I can promise, I'm a friend, not a foe."
The last time we heard that, a couple of dozen people died, so.
Yes, in your little adventures in Poescus, no?
How do you know of anything happening in Poescus?
Suffice it to say that you have begun tangling with very, very big forces. And the thing about big forces is, while they can have many friends, eventually they grow their own enemies. Virgil, do me a favor, roll intuition.
Okay. Yeah, good luck with that. That is a 7.
Okay. I'm going to tell you now, you get a nagging feeling in the back of your neck, and that's about it. Like, there's just something. It's not negative, it's not positive. It's like when you're sitting there in the middle of a room, and you walked into that room because you were going to grab something, and then you completely forgot what you were going to grab, and you're just kind of standing there looking around, and then you just leave the room in hopes that what you need will come back to you. It's exactly that.
Virgil's kind of like looking as this guy is conversing with everyone. He's just kind of like standing in the back of the room, like kind of like with that look on his face of like, I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I'm going to do. I would like to look at the faces of my comrades and see if any of them have the light of recognition for this figure.
I'm not going to make a roll for that. Y'all can describe.
Salacia absolutely has a look of recognition on her face. There's no edge of fear to it, maybe a hint of suspicion, but seems to just be waiting to see what happens next.
I, kind of make my way across the room and, like quietly sit next to Salacia. Salacia, do you happen to know who this person is?
No, not exactly, but I've seen him before. Talked to him.
He's going to step a little bit forward and say, I believe what the young lady will provide here is that if my goal was to hurt you, I've already found you isolated from each other. The best time to strike is not when you're all gathered.
That depends on one's goals.
The way that
That's why
Zeros
Zeros.
the way that Zeros and Feldspar are on the same brain cell.
I'm going, this is true.
What do you hope to gain by speaking to us?
It is difficult to find allies in a fight when you fight a thing that doesn't exist. When history says something is gone, how do you rouse the people?
when a veritable page out of the book of history seems to be missing.
He's
People
still.
often-
You can't read a face because it's a mask, but he doesn't react to that line. So you are.
People often fear that which they don't understand, and they seek comfort because of it. That is what the history of the church tells us provides.
Yes.
I've-
And
I've long thought that perhaps there may be some discrepancies with truth there.
and yet, while people seek comfort, you all seek justice and vengeance.
I seek to keep people safe.
I am doing no more and no less.
Well, then you won't mind telling us what exactly it is that you're doing.
I'm here to provide you with some pieces of information and to let you walk what road you shall. You see, you've already done some informative digging. So, it may be relevant for you to know. The old Holstead Manor sits towards the edge of Garland, on the northwest side. With no one left carrying that name, it should sit in disarray and completely abandoned until some family should choose to buy it. And yet, no family has. And yet, it has not gone in
Possession
disarray.
of Marigold, though?
Possession versus usage, my dear.
But the possession could prevent anyone from taking it if she chooses not to sell the estate.
Oh, that is correct. But the question then is, if no one is living there, why is it upkept?
There could be a few reasons. Some are less ludicrous than others. Marigold was not left in a good position when her husband was killed for treason.
I raise an eyebrow quietly in the background to this, but don't say anything.
She would likely want to keep all the resources she could, as many of them were I apologize, it's been a long day. Redistributed.
Well, that may be the case. But I will simply say, if someone was to seek vengeance for any reason, they may ally with things they otherwise would not. Even though he's wearing a mask, Feldspar, you can tell he's staring at you.
Who are you?
I can't tell you that right now. For now, you may call me Wiseman.
Those who keep secrets are often hiding things to their own interest. What is yours?
Yes, those who keep secrets often do keep them for their own interests, don't they?
My secrets, I have few. The things you speak of are not mine to keep.
I am not here to sell out any of you. At day's end, if I wish for allies, I need you all to work together with me and with each other. But I need you to know I have several reasons I fight.
And if I were to venture a guess, we have made an enemy of some kind of one of yours.
Well, to a degree. I don't know that they fully view you as an enemy yet. After what you did in that fight with that bone hydra, they may view you as pawns to a degree. They may view you as enemies. Those who have power often have hubris, could be many things. But they do view you.
Which means that we are being observed, and we shall be judged accordingly. Friend or foe, pawn or otherwise.
They don't have eyes everywhere, if it should help. Granted, I may be wrong, but I don't believe they are fully aware that you intend to encroach on them, because I believe they are acting under where they believe you would have done. And what the normal person would have done after seeing their leader struck down was to hunt the man who did it like a mad dog. But you all hunt the one who caused the issue, the root of the problem. Again,
Both can be a goal.
I'm not implying you are wrong for your choice. I'm saying, quite simply, those in power often overestimate their power and underestimate what stands against them.
We have been told, if we so much as dig into this, that we will become enemies of the church, among others.
Well, the church has very specific views on darkness. They may make you their enemy. They may not. I would simply state that while I'm here saying to trust me, I would not recommend you give trust to everyone.
We cannot give with that which is not earned, Wiseman.
Fair.
Silesia, what do you make
Yes.
of all this?
I ran into Wiseman at the church, of all places, sitting quietly, minding his own business, or so it appeared. We chatted briefly. It was pleasant, but very obvious that you knew more about me than you should. He let me go on my way, and something tells me you didn't have to follow me to find me. So I have to agree that if what he wanted in this moment was to hurt us, he'd have done it already. I'm not saying that may not be the motive down the line, but for now.
I would not have expected anything less than for all of you to view me as nothing more than the next potential target.
Virgil walks up to this guy and he looks at him square in the eyes. All right, the stuff you've been saying here, it sounds like to me you know information about that Gofford bastard. So I'm gonna humor you for now and listen to what you gotta say, because it feels like to me you're kind of a stepping point to what I need to do to get back at someone. So I'm gonna humor you for now, but you listen, you step out of the line. That's it.
Virgil, do me a favor. Roll dexterity.
Oh. A 7 again.
Hold on for a moment. Let me send this message real quick. There, that is it. That is what I'm going to say.
Totally fine. Virgil, the man standing before you is perfectly still, and out of nowhere, you see his fist come rocketing up. Your innate senses have you taking an attempted blocking position, and you move your arms, but he slides right between them, and his fist is directly near your cheek. But he doesn't touch you.
Huh.
You're improving. And he pulls his arm back. I will help you get the vengeance you seek.
All right, I trust this guy. And he walks to the back of the room and just leans back against the wall.
Virgil, what was that?
I trust him.
You trust him?
Yep. I
He
trust
just
him.
tried to punch you in the face.
No, he didn't try to punch me in the face. He did punch me in the face. There's only one other person that'll let me punch me in the face, and they're standing there right in front of me. So I trust them.
You know who they are?
Yeah, but I get the feeling they don't want me to say, and I trust them for that.
The masked man
And
looks
now you're
over at
asking us
Verge.
to trust you.
Well, I mean, I know you guys trust me. So I'm not going to ask. But what I'm saying is, when do I say I trust someone who actually got that close to me in an attack? I'm not the type of person to just sit down quietly and go, oh, you just got a kid off of me. Look, I trust this person. I won't get any further into it.
Interesting.
The man chuckles and says, "You've certainly grown. You'll beat him when it's time."
I'm not enjoying the energy in this room very much. I don't like being in the dark.
Well, in the dark we are, but from what I can tell between these two, there seems to be a little bit of light along the way. At the very least, there's no need for us to get hostile, and some people are content to let us roam and find what we might find without impeding us, and for now, that's enough.
You see Wiseman reach into his robe and pull out a scroll and set it down on, I'm sure there's a table in the room, just generally on the table. You can choose to trust what's in that, or you can choose not to. You can attempt to go headfirst into the Holstead Manor and fight whatever you see, or you can trust there's another way. I leave it to you. And with that, you see him begin walking away to leave the room.
One more thing.
He stops. Doesn't turn back, but he does stop.
It seems that you've been at this for a while. What has prevented your acting before now?
I know the limits of my strength. Where I would strike would be failure. Where all of you may strike, victory. And you see him continue stepping, but then he stops right before the end of the door. One more thing. And he points backwards, and his finger goes to Fallon. And he says, "You should leave someone behind. If something goes wrong, It means you have someone who can let people know and get help. Plan for victory. Be ready for defeat. And he just keeps walking and closes the door behind him.
I don't know what to make of this, but we have few enough allies. However, I'm concerned. This is a lot to go on faith.
I do think, for the most part, our enemies have been interested in operating from the shadows. They've been interested in not showing us their faces. It's all another test. It's all another stage of experimentation to move through. I think he gets some points for coming to us directly.
Should we look at the scroll?
I suppose we should. You won't find any complaints from me about all of this. This is the most interesting thing we've done since I've been recruited.
I can't deny that my own curiosity is piqued as well.
It is our first solid lead.
Well, Feldspar, would you like to do the honors?
All right. I'll open the scroll.
Okay. As you open it, you see it's multi-part. On the top left, and the majority of it you see is what looks like an overhead view map, essentially laying out a manor and the grounds around it. You can presume that it's Holstead Manor, most likely, for him to have mentioned it. And you see there's some arrows around the front of the building to the side going towards the back, specifically to one side of the back, where you see to the side, drawn and scribbled, is what looks like some sort of a small bust in a wall, and there's a circle going around the hand, the right hand of the bust.
It appears that there is some sort of secret behind this bust, or to this bust.
Are there any indications on the map of where this goes?
Oh, it's the manor. Is it north of here? I forget.
Northwest.
Northwest of here. Probably about a... How many days journey, Manor?
Oh, no. It's within the confines of Garland. Like, you would be there... Walking, you'd be there in 30 minutes, something to that effect. Like, you're not far from there. You would be... It's within the town.
It's here, actually, so it's convenient.
Well, this question, then, I leave to you. Would you like to go and visit Marigold first, or shall we visit the manor?
It'd make no sense to go visit Marigold before we go check this out.
Understood.
Perhaps he's right. Perhaps Fallon should stay behind. I know that she would like to view some of the more engineering-derived academics here. And I can write the letter to the headmistress to allow her access to those. I'm sure it'll go just fine.
I think that'd be nice.
We can insert here, there's some back and forth where Fallon tries to go along, but ultimately agrees that someone should be on hand just in case this kind of mission where you're infiltrating a place goes awry.
Fallon, one more thing. I do have, well, I might have a question to ask you when I get back. As well, we might need some more supplies from the shopkeeper when we return.
She agrees. And also, I'm going to go ahead and allow you for now to, as a party, you can decide how you're going to distribute this for those potions, since you're all going. Remember, it was 2 smaller basic potions and 1 slightly fancier looking one. The 2 smaller potions are both base potions. They're just potions. Drinking them restores 1 increment of health. The second one was a high potion, which will restore 2 increments of health. So you can decide how you're gonna go for that. But
I don't mind holding on to them or distributing them as appropriate if that suits everyone.
I would distribute them. Be on guard. Don't know what we're in for or what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we should distribute them out because we don't know what's going to happen to us.
Well,
I have
then,
healing magic, so take it amongst you 3.
as do I, so that leaves 2.
I have healing magic after fashion.
Well then, and I give the high potion to Virgil.
I had a feeling it was going to come to this point, but understandable. Got to keep this body in check. And he puts it away.
Oh, and you'll forgive me. We'll need a few moments. And I pull out boot polish and start polishing my boots.
All right. Totally fair. I guess we are going to an estate.
Well, that and a memorial, if you will. And I put the boot polish away.
You did always have the shiniest shoes.
Really did. Yeah, I guess he grabs the boot polish and he does like a really half-assed kind of polish, like just once over, then tosses the rag to Feldspar.
I don't wear boots like you 2 do.
Yeah, but you at least shine up your shoes a bit.
Would you like me to?
They're only partially leather. They're mostly woven.
all right, Boots Backles, how are you going to proceed?
What time is it right now?
So you came first to the room when it was the sun was starting to set. It wasn't fully set by this time. It is very much so twilight. It's definitely getting darker out. It's not fully moonlight yet, but by the time you would get there, if you were to leave now, you're talking moon out, sun's gone.
We should go now. It wouldn't do to go during the daylight. Regardless of whether this place is occupied or not. It will not do to be seen.
Agreed, especially if we're gonna go after whatever's behind the bust.
I drop a hood and give myself that Melia dual realness. By all means.
I definitely appreciate that.
Right.
Okay.
Off we trot then.
So the group makes their way, going through Garland. I'm going to assume you all just take the standard path there and you're not trying to like duck in and out of every single alleyway going northwest in town and really
That would be more suspicious than anything else.
right, drawing attention to yourself.
Yeah, basically it's one of those trying not to draw attention and also like at least being aware enough of our surroundings in case people are.
Right. So as you continue through town, eventually you start getting somewhat further out and you come to an area of town where for the most part, manors and homes and things like that, though they have some good distance between themselves, what would be colloquially suburbs, for lack of a better way of putting it. And most of them are well kept and what have you, but eventually you come upon one where you can see this is where the map led. And again, it's like he said, you would think if no one's living here, there would be more telltale signs. There would be, no signs of life in there, but outside of the building, not necessarily in the doors of it, there's no light you can see coming from any of the windows or any of the openings. But out at the edge of the building, like at the edge of the property, you can see there are lit torches.
It's
Looks like-
occupied then.
Yeah, definitely looks like someone's there.
How do we want to do this?
Let's go around to the side, maybe.
There's always the front door. Before we go in, I should tell you something.
About?
Marigold and her children. They're my half-siblings, I should say. They are... at least one of them. I've never met the other. It's very unpleasant. Putting it mildly. It's very likely that they are the one occupying this. They're not to be trifled with.
So
If you go
tell-
through the... I'm sorry?
So we're gotta take these people seriously, is what we're saying.
Yes. If you go through the front door, you're a large enough group. They may not attack us outright. However, it is night and we would be on his territory. It depends on who's there. He's an attendee of the academy, and several of his circle are powerful mages, if not fully trained. But then again, neither am I.
I will ask, for the sake of saving time, if we do run into an enemy, do I immediately try to contain them or not?
No. It would cause more problems for us in the long run if we pissed off the nobility of Evilis. Regardless of their father's stature, my father's stature, they still have power.
So you're telling me don't throw the first punch?
Don't throw the
Or
first
this-
punch.
Or
Got
the
it.
second? I would imagine.
Got it. I hear you. And he just kind of like folds his hands behind his head, like sticks to the back again.
You can try to sneak in.
Which I would recommend.
We should
I-
wait until they're asleep then.
You do raise an interesting point, though. If they're as formidable as you say that they are, and as much a part of the nobility, if we get caught, I think she'd take it as an insult that we snuck in, rather than facing her directly.
That depends. Marigold. I sincerely doubt that Marigold is here. She's likely at the Alexandros estate. She has 2 children. Presumably the one that inherits the Alexandros estate. Well, they would inherit the Alexandros estate. The other would inherit this. Regardless of what the last name is, this would be rightfully theirs. There are downsides to both, I will say. If we had to go in at night, we should sneak in. If we should return and wait till the day, then we can do the up front approach.
Either way, that barrier that you saw earlier is also, while stationary, a soundproof barrier. So if there are
Barrier?
people who do not need to hear our movement, I can place them in there temporarily.
Be careful. They can like sense magic. The entire family line uses it. But it won't do to twiddle our thumbs. Will it?
We're here.
No, but I cannot complain about your tactical thinking.
Yes, well. One has to learn something when you go through basic training. Let's go around the back.
Okay. So to be clear, you're going to try and sneak around the building and make it to the spot in the picture, correct? Okay. So as you all begin to sneak around the building,
Not
Metal
brave.
Gear Solid, I hate you.
I've been prepping that for 2 weeks. I had to. So as you all begin sneaking around the building,
Was that a joke?
yes, it was a joke. You were not
You
caught.
Piece of shit.
We were supposed to
Oh
hide in
my
the box.
god, I was like, "Ah!"
I was waiting for one of you to shout, "Snake!" Okay. As you begin sneaking around the building,
Oh, I'm so mad at you.
I've been sitting up. I thought last week we were going to end up somehow here because of the various options I had, and I've had that prep for a week, and I was like, no, I'm going to do that damn joke. So as you're sneaking around the manor, you notice, as I said, there's multiple different openings, windows, places where you can get an idea of life inside that building, and you don't see movement. You don't see light. You don't see anything that would indicate that. But you do feel like there's something off about the vibes here.
You said there was there was an observational note. Did we also notice things like well-manicured lawns and gardens, and that the fences are in good repair, and windows being clean and things like that on the nearby buildings?
Yes. So in other words, all the buildings nearby, those are likely lived in, and they're fine. They're normal. As for this one, it's not like it's perfectly manicured and this, that, or the other to the same degree, but you can tell it's not left in complete disarray. This is an area clearly where people are still coming and still congregating, at least to some degree. Maybe not
Well-
necessarily living in, but
Do
Perhaps
I
he's
see
not here.
with-
He was staying in the dorms.
Do we see any recent foot traffic through here?
no, you don't notice anything on the ground.
Okay.
So
Why do I feel like this won't be as easy as it seems?
Because it never is.
And if it were, I wouldn't be here because I would be bored.
Don't say that. If you wish for more excitement, you'll get too much of it. Let's go.
And as you roll around the building, you come to the back, and to one side, you actually see on both sides of the building, there are busts carved of lightly armored, almost centurion-esque soldiers, with a blade held in one hand across their chest. On one side, the bust has the other arm down at attention. On the other side, as indicated in the map, the hand is up in a fist.
That's the one. I'll go and pull it.
So as you reach and touch it, you can feel that the stone in is loose. And I'm not going to make you go through a whole rigmarole of rolling just to be a jerk. You can feel it's loose. When you pull it, you can feel it doesn't come. But as you, so instead, push it, it depresses into the wall, and a very small cutout of stonework around that bust begins to shift slightly outward, creaking along the ground, revealing a thin opening. And looking inside, you can see it is a very narrow walkway. You'll actually have to, like, you won't even walk broad-shouldered fully through it. You'll actually have to slide along it to go through.
All right, well, who's first?
I'll go.
Are you sure? I feel like it might
Not
be
even
best.
a little.
Then, in this case, might I suggest that myself or Virgil go, so that in the case that we do run into something unfortunate, you're not the first to run into.
I'll stand in the back. That way you're sandwiched. If anything comes from either side, you're not immediately.
I will be
pierced.
fine. I know.
Virgil, do you have a coin?
Yeah, I got a coin, but I'm gonna head in first because I want to see if anyone out there I want to punch. And he heads right in.
I'm going to make the directorial note here that Virgil's especially broad soldiers require that he go fully horizontal against
just
it
go
to slide
back
through.
completely.
Yeah.
We're never
If
going
he
to hear
gets-
the end of how thick he is, are we?
Never.
If he
And he
gets-
keeps on
No.
heading down.
If he gets stuck, I'm going to use boot polish to like grease him up a bit so that he slides through.
Guys, my pecs are freaking huge. I'm getting stuck in here. Oh wait, nope, I'm still going.
So as you all begin sliding through the hallway, you notice that along the wall, the exterior wall, are very, very tiny slits. Yay big. Almost hairline cracks. Not enough to where from the outside as you walked by it was noticeable, but enough that it's just little flits of light that you can use to be able to get an idea of depth perception, how far along you're going. And you can tell that you're going roughly halfway along the length of the building. And as you continue sliding, you actually find it turns. And again, keeps going further down, like this is just a carve out in the middle of this manor. And as you get to the end of that part of it, you see that it opens up ever so slightly, enough that you can, as you step out into that area, step properly and find that there are steps going beneath the building. Because you were at ground level. And you begin walking down, and you can see as there are very small cracks, again, perfectly positioned, almost like a feat of engineering, and you wonder how they can pierce into this part of the building. Light peering in, so where you see a door before you.
I go up to this door. Like I make my way up to the door and I kind of like lean up against it so I can hear anything through the wall before I push it open.
And as you push this door open, you open up into a large room. And the room could best be described as maybe a meeting room of some kind or what have you. Along all the walls, you see bookshelves filled with God knows how many tomes, and if there is any bits of empty space, they're filled with odds and ends, stones, gems, a dagger over here, there's a skull over there, all types of different things. And in the center of the room, you see a large table. Towards the far end of the room, you see what at first glance would appear like a fireplace. But as you pay attention, you realize the whole archway of it is actually metallic. and you can see all the seams and loose parts, and there are openings here and there where you see metalwork inside, moving, shifting slowly. None of
Maybe we
you
shouldn't have left Fallon behind.
None of you are very familiar with it, but you can tell there is machinery here. Much the same on the table, there is... It almost looks like an astrolabe of sorts, as well as an odd disc with a pylon and then another disc over it. And these each have little inscriptions all over them. But you can see all the clockwork gears and what have you on both of them. And next to them on the table, and again, this is the far end of the table, on the other side of the room, near where that fireplace is, you see that there is a tome on the table.
Does this... Oh, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I'll go to the tome.
As you approach,
Do you know what any of this is?
Not even slightly.
Definitely looks like this place is definitely being used for certain. Just...
There are more than a few.
Yeah.
also, do me a favor, all of you roll me intuition. Basically, just let me know if you get a 9 or greater.
I do get a 9.
I got a greater.
I got greater also.
Greater.
Okay, so
I
all of
accidentally
you...
rolled a d20 and a d10, which I got a 4 on the d10, and I added
It's fine.
7, so yeah.
All of you notice that fireplace does have a fire going, but it's not wood. There's just a fire sitting in the middle of the open open crevice. But you can't see anything, any fuel in there. There's just the flame by itself.
Magical flame. Self-sustaining flame without any other source.
Okay, so I'm going to do a knowledge thing real quick.
Hit me.
Do we know anything about like the teachings of the church that would be like any of this is weird?
In regard specifically to like machinery and such?
Basically anything we're finding down here. Machinery, self-sustaining flames, any of that stuff.
Absolutely. Go ahead and hit me with an intuition roll.
Yay. Why? That is an 8.
Okay. Well, the good news is this one isn't hard. I just will be more limited in what I can tell you. You wouldn't be as practiced. You know that when it comes to the Glabadocian Church, they do mention that part of why Morond fell, Molond Holy City, and part of why that affected the neighboring machine city of Gaug. Jesus, I can't pronounce things. The neighboring machine city of Gaug. And why Gaug had to suffer was there was a bit of hubris in terms of believing they could do greater things than they should, but there is no express teaching against machinery. Machinists are totally fine in the terms of like civilization, and there is no need to hide or anything like that. Like, again, there is a belief purely that there are limits to what man can and should do, but not that machinery itself is bad.
So I'm at the book, but before I do that, can I roll intuition to see if this... I'm not a machinist. I am strictly magically...
Yes.
Strictly magic. But they do engineering and magical engineering at the school. And I probably was involved with that.
There
Does this
are
look
some
more
studies,
or less
yes.
advanced than that? Can I do an intuition on that?
Hit me with intuition. I can tell you whether it's more advanced no matter what. I want to see how much
13.
information I'm giving you. Okay. You can tell that it's more advanced in the sense that it's more complex. When you're looking at magical engineering and the like that would come with Garland, that is the sense of how there are machinists who work hand in hand in Garland to try and create things with sort of a magic crystal base. For instance, you've heard of magic guns, which can actually fire spells of fire or ice and the like. This would be much more in scope than that, where it's just so big, almost by definition, this is getting into some real heavy territory. And same thing as far as the machines that are on the table. You can tell there is a lot of moving pieces with them. And I'll let you investigate more on that if you want, though obviously you're not a machinist. But you can tell there's a lot of literal moving pieces with them, more so than there would be on any, firearm.
I'm going to open the book.
All right. You can see on the tome of the book, it is written in a very old tongue, not necessarily a dead tongue like ones we've seen before, but a very, very old dialect. But it is written in the sort of base evolution magical runic system. Mm-hmm. It is less that you don't understand the language and more that it is written very archaically, almost as if it's very early on in the adoption of the evolution language, where things were written far more rudimentary.
So, almost as if it's from the old era.
Right. So almost like it's in that gap between anything you'd find modern and getting so old that you can't read it anymore. It's written in dialects that predate Ivalis. Like you are right at the cusp. And as you open it, again, the writing is very archaic. You can't make this out in a conversation. You're making out words, but from how they're structured, you are a trained scholar. You weren't at the academy for enough time that you're making out like the idea of what is trying to be said. And this is clearly a book on very, very deep necromancy. You make out words along the lines of combine, and you make out suffixes here and there, which you notice them that they are the same here. You make out things like ra, ga, ja, empowered versions of magics. You're not really sure of the ritualistic calling upon any of them, not that you would want to, but this is a situation where you're looking, you couldn't draw upon this magic on your own even if you wanted, but you can make out some of those concepts.
Well, they're certainly related to what we were investigating. This book is more than enough to know that. This book's entirely about practical necromancy and old stuff too.
So
I
it's
put it in my
like
bag.
A family tradition?
I don't know, but I do get the feeling that we should get out of here immediately.
If not sooner. I knew this family had a talent for magic, but...
Zaros, grab some of the machines on the table. Colin can look them over later.
I do so without a moment's hesitation.
Is there another door in the room?
There's the entry you came in, and there is one main door that comes in. You can tell that this was clearly a secret exit from the manor. And given it's underground, roll me intuition.
11.
You know enough about noble life that you know that not every noble would have one, but especially for families who have been around, for at least 200 years, families that didn't spring up into position purely at the beginning of the war or anything when they were building their estates. This would date back to old evolution traditions to have a secret escape. But usually it would be, literally just an escape. You have not heard of there being some sort of actual secret series of rooms or catacombs under any of the estates here in Garland.
Josh. Hold on, actually.
Yeah.
Zeris, you wrote down how far back the family line goes, right?
We made a copy of it from the library.
Check how far the record goes.
Well, there's a part of it that goes back to the 50 Years' War and then a bit beyond. But at the point of the 50 Years' War, that page is missing.
It doesn't go back all the way to the ancient.
I think there's some confusion. She was asking goes back, not how far forward it comes.
How far back does that go?
It's this family has been around. They're not like a founding
goes
family
back-
of Evelyn's.
I see. It goes back 300 years.
How long ago was Saint Ajor? Anor.
That's going to
That's
be the vaguely 750 years, give or take.
This kind of building being this part kind of like escape being a part of this building. How old do I think this building is?
Oh, you imagine that this building was either built by the founding Holsteads or around that time. Like, you can imagine this is the Holstead Manor.
Okay, so it's the Holstead Manor, so it doesn't seem like the building predates the family line.
No. No.
Okay. All right, we have a choice, and we must make it quickly. We can either leave with what we have, or we can open that door.
Favorable insight time.
What would you like to know?
Well, it's basically which
Are
is
you
the
going to
best
ask me?
one because that's what I took it for.
Okay.
Totally fair.
Okay. Let me see which one of
I'm going to go with this being essentially a favorable insight on a vibe check.
Okay, so is that intuition or resolve for you?
I'll let you roll intuition. You are literally relying on your inner intuition.
15.
Oh.
You've been around the block. The light out by the road is not... Why was it lit? You can explain the magic fire and all that, but that's still bugging you because that was a regular old fire on a post, and those are kept and lit by the family and the keeper. So why would it have been lit? You haven't noticed anyone here, but you presume there be people in here somewhere.
What? Okay. So, my suggestion is that we do not go through that door unless we want a battle of some kind. There was at least one lamp lit here by a person who is still on the premises, I would surmise.
We should go then, but first, can I do an aura roll to see if there's any tracking magic or anything? I know this book is probably reeks of magic, but is there any tracking magic on it?
Hit me.
That's an 8.
You can definitely divine that the book is filled with magic. There's a lot of it. It's very chaotic. 8 is going to be to where I'm going to say you're not necessarily 100% confident that there's no tracking on it, but you don't feel anything specifically. But you could there be? Maybe. If you were to make a guess, best educated guess, no.
I don't have the time to check whether this has tracking on it. We just need to get out of here.
Understood.
Hide. No.
Hide.
Hide.
And the door begins opening. I remind you all that this room is a table in the center and walls.
I'm going to pick a place to hide very quickly. And
I'll allow you to roll to try, but what you are essentially asking me to do is to stand in the corner quietly and hope you don't get noticed. There's not really, unless you're talking about trying to go under the table. There's not really hiding places.
Virgil runs over to the door and he will place his foot against the slowly arching edge of the door to kind of like place weight again, like looks like the door is stuck, but not like there's something is barricaded against, but just feels like the door is stuck and they have to really slowly push their weight against it and like trying to buy us time to get out the room.
Is the door opening in or out of the room?
It's opening inwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a muscle roll.
Oh.
We're not gonna get away with this.
I'm gonna activate my spirit sight.
I critted. I got a 17.
All right.
Rolls.
You perfectly place just the right amount of weight to slow the door opening. Salacia activated spirit sight. You see two. Not again, spirit sight is very. It is more so gaining information than it is clear sight. Like, it's not like you're switching into, like, infrared or anything. But you can see auras. In other words, things like that pop into view. And you can see two human-shaped and size, like, height sources of energy outside the door. There is a bit of darkness tinge to them. It is not undead itself, but it's in the same vein.
Okay.
I gently tap Feldspar's wrist and just hold up 2 fingers.
Okay.
It's time to change tactics.
Aimed at the door, I would like to try to place them in a dome.
I would also like to try to do something.
Okay. I'm going to say no on the dome because the size in which it forms, you wouldn't be able to, essentially, your dome, because of how it creates its energy, has to be created outside of humans or what have you, because they would naturally clash with its creation.
There's not enough space.
There's not enough space outside the door to catch them without being broken up on the wall itself. Like, your magic just won't form correctly.
I have one thing I'd like to try to do.
Hit me.
We don't have time. Virgil has bought us a second. Feldspar will hold out her hand to the fire, the magical fire, and just pump magical energy into it so that it explodes in flame, catching both the door and the table as a massive explosion and a distraction.
All right. Give me an aura roll. Because you are talking about very precisely trying to...
Crit.
Period!
You thought.
17.
You thought.
Go off.
You thought.
Okay. Well,
Game's broke.
yeah. Moon's haunted. Feldspar lifts her hand and just begins unloading magical energy into this fire, just in mass, okay? And you see it start sputtering and kicking up, what have you. I'm gonna need y'all to be very precise about what you're doing as you see this, and Feldspar about how you handle this.
Okay.
Because
So
you're
much
talking
space is-
about in a small enclosed room, basically setting off a bomb.
Okay, so how big is
Run.
this room?
Run. She just whispers, run. Well, actually, once. Run. And then just lets it go off.
Okay.
So Laisha only needs one. Only needs to hear that word once, and it's gonna take off back toward the door that we came through.
As
Okay.
soon as Feldspar says run, I plant the foot that isn't holding the door and I slam it on the ground and I push off of it, leaping backwards towards the secret entrance we came in, and it kind of like releasing the door so that they will just stumble forward right into it.
Okay.
Zeros, take the book. Take the book.
I take the book, and I leave with the rest of the crew.
You all.
Well, very slowly.
I don't get to leave. Not before the explosion goes off.
So, when I get to the entrance where Virgil is, I hand Virgil the book.
Why are you giving me the book?
Someone is going to have to get her out of here after this.
You better not fucking die. And he will back through the tunnel.
I need a measurement for how
There
big
is a
this
lot.
room is.
There is a lot. I
Let's
will.
let Anoriand
I know
go
what you're.
forward.
No, I know what you're trying to do, and that I will allow.
Okay.
Rapid fire. Feldspar looks at the group. Run. Turns. Hand towards the fire. Begins pouring out etheric energy. And it starts sputtering up. Wally has been Virgil has been perfectly bouncing this door to where you hear on the other side. What? God's name. Pushing against it. You all immediately bolt. Go to the door. The people on the other side. And it's almost like they... Hold on. Because you crit Virgil, he moved back from the door on the other side to try and give it a good proper shoulder thrust. So as you would run off, it was perfectly timed. All at once, multiple things happen. As you're pumping the energy into that fire, it begins growing until it starts to loop in, and with the air and all around it, like any flame in a backdraft, it explodes outward. The door opens, and fumbling through it, you see a man in gold-plated armor with green robes around him pulled down, and he looks up in time to see Feldspar and said, Feldspar! You turn back and see the face of Morganite Alexandros, and behind him is Sapphire, a girl who you would presume from what you've seen to be Sapphire Alexandros. And as the flames come barreling towards you, assuming Zeros is doing what I believe was going to be done from the doorway, very quickly, a magical barrier begins extending from above Feldspar downwards. And right as the flame is about to hit her, pours down in the way to where it hits and continues to burst forth, hitting the table, shoving it with magical energy. Zeros, do me a favor and roll... I made you... Roll Aura.
Okay.
You are rolling Aura against Sephi's spell. Which crit, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh no, like
shit.
that's perfect. That's perfectly fine. Because like no matter what happens, if the
Oh,
barrier takes
yes.
an attack, it dissipates. But that's a 9.
Yeah. So as this flame comes through, Feldspar, you see the barrier struggling against the force of the blast and your power, and the magic of it, as the fire is whipping around, shatters, but such that the flames all go past you, and you don't get burned. The flames don't quite burn the people entering the room, but they do scorch half the table, and they shove it forward to where, based on his position, it actually conks him in the head, going backwards. And he takes a few steps back. What in God's name
You're not the only one who can wield fire, Morgan.
I don't know how you've come here. Frankly, I don't care.
What are you playing at?
Vengeance.
With necromancy. Of all things.
We needed help. Your blood doesn't get to judge us. Sapphire walks in the room to his side. I believe this is our first time speaking.
Indeed.
I'm going to ask Zeros, where did you position yourself for all of that?
Like, I was just at, like, the mouth of that secret entrance that Virgil left through.
Okay.
I'm also going to say for funsies, because this is going to be a very fun flavor thing. That emergency dome, Zeros has, like, as far as if you were to look at him, he's not wearing armor right now.
Okay.
Oh,
Respect.
I see.
I don't.
Zeros' armor turns into
Yeah.
the barrier,
Oh! I wouldn't be able to see that, so I don't know anyway. That's really
which
cool.
was shattered to protect Feldspar.
Oh no.
You see,
It reforms after a while. It's fine.
right. You see Sapphire look over at Zeros, having seen there's an open doorway, and is clearly the more calm and collected of the two.
Run! Run!
And
Now! Go!
do you have any idea who your friend is?
What are you talking about? Zeros, if you don't get out of here right now, I'll blast you out of here myself. Go!
I don't know if there's a favorable thing to do here, so
Go! The others need... Go! I won't ask again. Go!
Can we hear Feldspar
Yeah, Kim.
yelling?
I'm gonna depend all that on you. How far did you run?
Not far.
I'm going to let. This is a situation where I'm not going to take the reins. I'm going to let y'all decide how you handled it.
Having not had them follow us, Salacia would have stopped and just waited and listened.
Yeah, Virgil would
Okay.
have 100% done the same thing.
So then, yeah,
simply-
I'm going to say you all were back further up, maybe towards where the top of where the stairs were, or what have you, but you could hear there was a back and forth, and clearly Feldspar knows these people. You can't make out all the words, but you can tell this discussion is not just random yelling.
Zeros,
I
get out of here.
look,
No.
I look at Feldspar being very earnest, and I look back at the two of them and go, she leaves here alive. And make my way down the hallway.
You see Morgan.
If it's vengeance you truly desire, then you have me here. But necromancy, truly, that's where you went? That was your first thought after you failed to kill me?
No. My first thought was taking the very blood that took my father. You do not get to judge me. You never get to judge me.
And yet I do judge. Morganite.
You see his left hand is the grip on the pommel of his blade. His skin is just sheet white where his fingers are, so tightly gripped around it.
I don't blame you for wanting recompense for what happened. You have to know that I didn't know what had truly happened.
I don't care.
I don't care that you don't care. But this? There are 1,000 paths you could go to. 1,000 different ways. This one.
This is the only one that lets me give you pain.
Salacia is pushing Virgil back the way they came now.
I am already like sliding my way down this tunnel because I heard an explosion and I have not seen them come out, and I am going after
Yeah, we're.
And as I'm like crab walking my way down the hall, I run into them.
Zeros, what the hell is going on?
You would also notice I'm not wearing armor right now.
What? Whoa.
Oh shit, you don't have your... What the hell
Where's
is going on,
Feldspar?
Zeros?
Feldspar is having a very unfortunate conversation with her family.
But you just used your
You
armor.
left her alone?
Where do you think those barriers come from?
All right.
The good news is, there was no harm to Feldspar in the middle of that explosion.
And you left her alone in there?
Well, it was a choice between that or taking a fireball directly to the face from her.
Dang it, Felds. Okay.
If we're
I trust her.
quiet, we might be able to hear from the other end of the hall.
I trust her. But if things go sour, I am pushing past every single one of you.
We just want to throw the first punch. Or the second.
Back in the room, you see they were standing side by side. Sapphire has moved to the side slightly, giving some separated distance. So Feldspar is at the far end of the room, pretty much aligned with the center of the room, and each of them is to a side, almost like a large triangle. And Sapphire says, "We've learned things. We've learned things that maybe we can't kill you. We can make you wish you were dead."
And your imagination is so limited that you had to turn to necromancy to do that? Really?
Is my imagination limited? Or are you limited by stodgy old men in robes?
You don't know what you're doing.
Oh, that's just it. And you see her reach into the side. Now, where Morgan was wearing gold armor with green robe work all around it, Sapphire has a pink, very, very plain sort of shirt into pants with gold work around at the waist, around the shoulders, things like that. But she reaches into a pocket in her pants and pulls out a black stone. I assure you, I know exactly what I'm doing. And she gets an almost maniacal glint in her eyes.
Do I recognize the stone?
You don't.
Do you truly hate me so much that this is what you stoop to?
I tell you, I hate you more than that, but I would rather show you. And she whips her arm forward, and you see the rock begin to glow a very dark, black, primal aura. And a beam shoots directly at Feldspar. Feldspar, I need you to do me a favor and roll. I will let you choose. Normally, I would say resolve, but the nature of what's coming at you, you are allowed to roll aura.
I'm gonna use aura. $13.
As this beam comes towards you, reflexively, you put up your arms and try to create a barrier, and you feel yourself pushing back to it somewhat, but it pushes towards you and breaks through the barrier and hits you. Your entire body becomes enveloped by this dark energy, and almost reflexively, because of the particular nature of the magic, you scream.
Running.
Book it. Book it.
And we're gonna go to break. We're gonna go ahead and take a roughly 10-minute break, folks, maybe a little less.
Okay.
And when we come back, we will see the fate that lies ahead for our heroes. So sit
Don't put on
tight.
my soft music.
Don't do that.
It's break time.
No.
It's break time. It's a break. It's fine. Things are fine during
Disrespectful.
break.
Disrespectful is what it is.
Disrespectful after what you just did.
Disrespectful.
I'm just saying. So, folks, we will be back in 9 minutes at 9:40. Welcome back from break, everybody. It's been a real calm, smooth, easy time. So
You monster.
I'm sure everyone has been just chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool for the break.
Shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
Oh, yeah, some shooting was happening. Not b-ball, more like necrotic blasts.
You know, I am
Sometimes things
very
happen.
funny, is all I'm going to say. And here's the best part. The reason why I'm totally cool coming back before Sin is back is we've got to do our midstream giveaways before we get back to the action. So it's going to take even longer until we get there. So every stream, we give away 2 keys when we come back from the break for a free month of Galaxies and Necromancy is going to absolutely find me and come beat me up. We give away 2 keys.
Love you, Galaxies.
We give away 2 keys for 1 free month of Adventuring Kit. Because while you can get 25% off, getting 100% off is a lot better. So, without further ado, everyone in chat, if you are interested, and you should be, in a free month of the premium subscription to Adventuring Kit, once I get this thingy on. Giveaways, there we are. If you will go into the chat and enter !free in chat, that's !free, you will receive a code for 1 free month. Now, we're giving away 2 of them tonight. We give away 2 of them every stream. So, if you don't win the first one, you might win the second. If you don't win them tonight, come back next week. You might win again then. Who knows? But please just keep entering !free. That's the code. 1 free month. And then after that, you can just use my code to get another 25% off. It works pretty much no matter what. Everybody feeling good? Feels a little tense. I'm not sure why.
Woo!
I'm gonna come for you in the night. Outside of the game, away from the table. I'm gonna come get you.
We fighting. Like, it's on site at this point. You know? Just saying.
I would like to say this, especially by the nature of the places we may be going, just as actual genuine for all y'all in chat, everybody watching, anybody who's watching the VOD on YouTube after the fact, which, can I just say, there are a lot of people who watch on YouTube, apparently. Like, our first 2 episodes between them are each at like 400 to 500 views. Yeah.
Are y'all leaving positive comments though?
There we go.
I'm not going to respond to that. I'm simply going to state there are a lot of people watching, which is nice. But yeah, I did not respect that. So, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're here, I do want to make something very clear. This episode, genuinely, I would like to state, we will be potentially getting into some darker places, some more traumatic things. I have had individual conversations about certain specific boundaries with certain players because I don't want to cross anyone's boundaries. Safety is always key, and it's number 1. No story is worth more than anyone's safety. But while I don't feel anything that we may be getting into is going to be anything I need to specifically trigger warn about, I will say trauma's trauma. It can be triggering. It can be hard. If you feel you need to get up and walk away, if you come back to that part of the episode, maybe skip that part of the episode, whatever it may be, there is nothing wrong with any of that. You protect you and your mind and your heart however you need to. Okay? So coming off of that, let me go ahead and roll for this. And our first, our first big winner is Wapam Coleslaw. Coleslaw, you have won yourself a free month code. Let me go ahead and make a mark here. Ba-dum, ba-dum. So I'll be sending that to you over after the stream, okay? And that's the thing, though. We've got another code coming down the pipeline because that's right, like I said, we're doing 2. Hit !KIT in chat because it's a month to Adventuring Kit. !KIT in chat. And you have the chance to win a free month, okay? Go ahead and hit that in there. So everybody who entered before, you better try entering again. Hint, hint. You could still win. But yeah, so in other words, to stretch time, yeah, things in games, obviously, are they gonna physically come and touch you? No, but reliving experiences or experiencing things that are close to you can get you. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is a line for me. I need to step away. I need to pull myself back. There's nothing wrong with that. It ain't weak. It ain't anything bad. That's coming from your good old internet game dad. Okay? Your game dad. He's proud of you no matter what. If you're able to admit, hey, it's a bit too hard for me, I'm proud of you for admitting that. Also, don't worry, I'm only going to give this like 30 more seconds because I know everybody really wants to know what's going on. You're muted, Sephi.
Whole time. We want to kill you.
Yeah, I assumed.
Yeah.
You're a bad person.
If you're feeling tense energy, it's directed at you directly.
It's me
Yeah,
specifically.
absolutely. It's
100%
deeply
I hope you
personal.
feel-
Here's the
I hope you feel
worst
every
part.
single inch of it.
That I specifically did that to Sephi while I'm wearing this shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
Sus. Very sus. Extremely
Interesting.
sus.
Interesting.
if y'all want to
Noted.
like cancel me for being a fake ally, it's totally fine.
Y'all might want to go ahead and clip like that last 30 seconds because that was basically a confession.
Listen,
Admission of guilt.
I already made a bisexual joke today, so I am ripe for the plucking.
I'm surprised that you were able to hit me considering that I get stealth this week.
Got him.
You're being a jerk right now. Do it
How am
already.
I- No! No, just so everyone knows, by the way, the bisexual joke was I pointed out, it's Bisexual Awareness Week.
Oh,
So I
my
want
God.
all the wonderful bisexuals in my life to know I am aware of you.
Listen, just leave us milk and cookies and a copy of Howl's Moving Castle per Twitter.
We'll be fine.
That's how it
All
works.
right. And Jason, WFD, you win the other code, my
Nice.
friend.
Hey.
So let me go ahead and throw that note here. Congratulations. You are both winners. So I've got that note. I will send that off post-stream. And now we need to talk about our sponsors. Valorous, I'm kidding. We're going back in the game officially now. I am done playing. I am done having fun.
You're just an awful human
I'm
being.
an awful person when you give me too much power.
Just like most white men. You are living up to your ancestors. So now it's time, okay?
So now it's time for real. I was taking that so that we could transition. But, so, this dark beam of energy pierces through the barrier, hits Sephi, hits Feldspar. Her entire body glows with it, and the scream pierces out. I'm assuming all of you, Zeros
Yep.
included, begin rushing back, and you come
I'm in front of everybody, so I have
Usain
to.
Bolt.
as you all slide back into the room and pile back in. You see Feldspar's body being lifted somewhat in the air, held like this, held inert by the energies at play. And then, well, I wouldn't want all of you to feel left out. And she does this. The beam intensifies heading to Feldspar, and smaller fractal beams from it hit each of the three of you square in the forehead, tilting your head back. Now, for all of you, you are not taking damage right now, but the world has gone black. You see nothing. It's like you're suspended in time. And Virgil, Saros, and Salacia, the three of you come into view for each other, again, floating in darkness. You can see each other, but There is no sound. You can't move. Can't speak. And then suddenly before you, almost like a picture coming in view from far away, it's blurry. It's incredibly chaotic. But as the view focuses, you see what looks like the edge of Garland, past the homes, past all of it. And there are a bunch of figures with dark clothing gathered. And they have formed a circle. And between them all, you see a wooden post with logs at its base. And tied to the wooden post, you see Feldspar. And you don't know how, but you have the feeling that what hit you, you're seeing what she is seeing and experiencing. And all these men gathered, all these people gathered, I should say, not hundreds or anything, but about a dozen. You see one of them. Now, you look, and because you've barely seen him, it's hard to tell, but you believe the one standing right in front of her is the man who was in the room. Morganite Alexandros. And Morgan is standing before her with a torch in his hand. And he looks at her and says, "The bitch that took my father, your blood, you shall be the sacrifice. My father was taken from me, so her daughter will be taken from her." Any last words?
Why are you doing this?
A life for a life. I want her to suffer.
I thought that we were close. Morgan, I thought that...
And you see him throw the torch into the logs assembled, and clearly they had put some sort of oil around it, as it immediately lights in that spot, and a circle of flame forms around the base.
No!
And you see there are mages to the side who are actively doing this, and there's energies going from them.
Please don't do this.
They're targeted specifically at Feldspar's hands, so all three of you can surmise they were anti-magic. And the fire begins to creep up and up. Feldspar, you're reliving this, but you are aware this is a memory. Even you're reliving what happened to you. What Morgan tried to do to you. And almost instinctively, you look to the side because you remember in your memories that when this happened, this was when the voice rang out of Melchior Tengil. This was when he came to save you. But you don't hear a voice. Whatever these dark magics are, they're taking your worst fears, and they're making you live them out. Feldspar, I need you to give me a resolve roll.
That's a 6.
You're trying to fight it. You're trying to will the moment to fix itself. You're trying to will Melchior to appeal. You remember it in the back of your mind like an echo. He came and used magic and he extinguished the fire. Right? You had to have lived through it. But it's like it's distant. Like part of your brain believes what you're seeing. Like it's getting further and further from the truth. And the fires continue to build up and begin reaching towards the base of the wooden post.
No.
And you can feel the raw heat.
No. Stop! Please! Please! Stop!
Zeros, Virgil, and Salacia, I need the three of you to give me aura rolls.
14.
Also 14.
Oh boy. That is a 7.
So 35 altogether. And Feldspar, you feel the fires coming up. And you feel it begin to lick right under your feet. And you know, at this moment, you feel like it's over. It's done. This was how it really went. Everything since must have been a fever dream. The last fleeting memories of your brain. But then, far in the distance, a whisper. Feldspar. Feldspar. Almost like it's not there.
What?
Feldspar.
Who are you?
You are... You are... The three floating and watching see a light begin to form within each of them. And they all pierce forward. The light coming out of them. And Feldspar, you can't see them. But they see their light go and extend around the flames. Because you're their comrade. And their energy will not let you be alone in this moment. And as the light wraps around the flames for them, what you see is these flames that were building and growing suddenly, while they do lift, they part outwards from the center. And you hear the voice. Feldspar! You are Feldspar, Licio! You are Feldspar, Licio! You are the daughter of Opal Licio and Garnet Alexandros. You fear the flame, but this flame is within you. Believe. Believe in yourself as I have always believed in you, even if I did not show it. And you recognize whatever was inside you took the form of the voice of your mother, Opal Licio. And you feel her love and her warmth embracing you.
No more!
You see the fires begin sputtering outward.
I will not be treated as a sacrificial lamb for your desires.
The fires continue to crackle and roar. They're not going away, but they're not encroaching on you.
I am Feldspar Lycio. I am the daughter of the Duke Garnet Alexandros and Baroness Opal Lycio. You will not have me!
And with that, all of you, it's almost like the crash of glass. And something shatters. But Melchior doesn't appear. The flames, all of them, rise up and completely envelop Feldspar in a cocoon of fire. And as they envelop around her body, suddenly, all of it, from the top and bottom, collects down into a single point before her and pours directly into her chest. And there is a glow about her. And you all know that despite the best efforts of those who intend to see this woman dead, quite the opposite. She has found within her a strength over the fear that once broke her so. That fire holds no more power over her. Feldspar, if you will look in the campaign on Adventuring Kit, you will see a new folder with a sheet full of information. You have just acquired Ifrit, the fire summon.
Oh, shit!
And as all of you pull back, you begin to float away from that darkness and coming back into the real world. You realize your vision comes back into focus in the room. And you realize that you've broken free of whatever it was that was holding you. And all of you are standing there, and you see the shocked faces of Morgan and Sapphire, who believed, after all, this was obviously supposed to break you all. This was supposed to put you in a prison of your own mind, of your own fears. How could you possibly still be standing? How could you have broken free from it? They didn't say anything about that.
Well, don't you just look shocked?
As I said, Feldspar comes back alive.
And you see, shaking there, Morgan. I am so God's damned tired of you finding ways to survive.
I do more than survive, Morgan. Like it or not, I am my father's daughter.
And I am his son.
I pity you more than anything. That your fragile little ego cannot stand The sight of someone who could have been an ally to you. I am not my mother. I make no apologies for our actions. But know this. I will never stop crushing you beneath my heel as long as you insist on being an insect beneath it.
Then I guess this insect sees time to bite, and you see Morgan go for his blade and pull it out.
So, as the blade is drawn, Feldspar will hold out a palm, and inside of it, right inside the flesh, is a ruby that will glint and burst into a wreath of flame that will wrap around her arms, legs, hair, until a curtain of flame overtakes her body. And from the earth below, shattering from the stones, lines of liquid, hot magma rise, and a crystal, the color of garnet, with a demon inside, rises. Long black horns, flaming eyes, black hooves, and claws sharper than any blade. And it will grab the sword, shattering the crystal around it.
I would say make an intuition or an aura roll, but you can go ahead and open up that sheet on Adventuring Kit. Let's go ahead and have our friend Ifrit make a muscle roll.
Yeah! Okay. Muscle. 12.
Ifrit grabs the blade and squeezes his hand around it like a toothpick, like a child's plaything. And you see it's born of flame. Flame does nothing to it. And he heats the metal where his hand is, and you begin to see the blade bubbling and melting and drooping as bits of magma come down his hand, falling on the ground. And he walks back and takes his place next to you. And Morgan is left there holding the dilapidated remains of a blade that has been completely melted through at its end, with no, just absolutely worthless.
A pity. I hope it wasn't terribly expensive.
You will have your day, Rich.
Try me, Morganite. You've never once bested me. Not in the academy, not when you tried to burn me, and not now. Now why don't you go hide behind your much more powerful sister's legs and weep like the child you are?
I need, all y'all, Zeros, Virgil, Feldspar, give me an intuition roll.
That's not bad. That's a
That-
10 for me.
That is... Hold on. I can do math. 7 plus 8 is 17, I think? No, 15.
15.
15.
It's fine.
Maximum intuition for me, that's a 17.
Perfect. And what did you get, Virgil?
10.
Okay. All of you notice, one by one. Well, all of your characters sure notice something. And if you were listening, you noticed that I just called out 3 of your names.
Yeah.
All 3 of you notice Sapphire looking horrified. But she's not staring at Ifrit. She knows her sister's a summoner. She's staring at Silesia. And all of you look over and see her body. It's almost out of focus. It's like trying to see 3 different pictures of a body interweaving in and out from one another. And you see bits of dark energy coming forth and back. It's clearly you see her writhing and moving in unusual ways back to normal positions, back. It's all so fast, it's hard to keep track of with your eye, but she is not in control of herself at the moment fully.
Silesia?
Now, what I'm going to tell you, Silesia, is you are not fully in control. You are not fully out of control. There are moments where you're going to be able to speak freely of your own will and volition. And then there will be other moments. So in this moment, you can respond.
Feldspar.
Silesia, what's happening?
I'm so sorry.
Sorry for what?
The joy of the dark.
I'm not in control anymore.
Not in control?
The blood was given what was needed.
Silesia, what's happening? What?
What did you do?
What do you mean you're... Who,
I
what do you mean
didn't do anything.
The darkness. Oh, the taste of sweet dark.
What is happening?
Gafgarian. Did Gafgarian
No.
do this?
No.
Zeros.
What did you do to her, Sapphire? What did you do?
You see Sapphire. This was only supposed to show memories. It was supposed to all be mental. It wasn't supposed to be physical.
That's the problem with you necromancers, isn't it? You're greedy. That's all you care about is power. You don't care about where it comes from or what you might be calling on. And now look at the mess you've got us in.
As this is happening, you see it gets wildly chaotic where she's standing. It's literally at this point hard to tell where her body is, where she's actually standing. With every so often a dark, fleeting bit of energy comes out, the shape of a clawed hand, and it recedes. The shape of a clawed hand, and it recedes. A dark wing, and it recedes.
Silesia, and you, Virgil runs up. Silesia, look at me.
No!
Don't just
Stay
focus
away.
on my voice, Silesia. Just focus on my voice, all right?
The blood is mine.
Look right at me, Salacia. Look right at me.
The blood is mine.
Whatever you're hearing right now, ignore it. Whatever you think is controlling you, ignore it. No, the only thing controlling you is you. All right? You're in control. Say with me, you're in control.
Salacia and Virgil, both you give me resolve rolls.
I would like to use my overdrive and use hot-blooded to bring my resolve up.
Hit it.
Salacia rolled a hot 3, bringing it to a total of 7.
Okay, so that brings up my resolve to 1. Ooh, I critted. I got a maximum size 15.
Virgil, you said you reach out and grab her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Virgil, as you're reaching to grab her, your hands literally pierce through this dark aura that looks almost like flames. And you grab in the middle. And you somehow, beyond all rhyme or reason, find her shoulders. And the chaos still goes around you. There's still so much wild movement, and you see this dark energy. The flames are literally licking at your skin. But you're so intensely focused in this moment, you don't feel pain. And while all this chaos is happening, in frame for you, you see her shoulders and her face. And for a moment, while she is struggling, fighting to gain control of herself, you and her have a direct connection right now. The beast can speak, but she's able to see you and talk to you.
All right.
And also you can talk to her.
Salacia, just focus on me right now. You may not feel you're in control, but trust me, you are in control right now.
Virgil, you don't understand.
No, you go there.
You don't understand. I've spent my entire life trying to avoid what is happening.
What a life it has been.
My whole family. My whole family shares it. All of us. It's the same thing inside of all of us, and it's hungry and it is
Generations. The brood fights.
Right. You feel like something's inside of you all the time that is telling you to do something. And you feel like if you don't give into it, something really bad is going to happen, right? Trust me. I have more idea in that than you have any idea what you think it is. But believe me here. You're going to feel, I know what you're feeling right now. You feel like something is trying to get out of you. It's trying to take control. It's trying to make you do things you don't want to do. But listen to me. You have more control in it. You have control. You trust me. You have control in it. Don't believe in yourself that can do it. Believe in the me that believes in you that can take control of this thing. You are stronger than what is inside of you.
And I think you see that while all of this is happening, Salacia's pupils are shifting from their normal yellow to pink with slitted pupils, back and forth. And you can see when it is the Salacia you know and when it is not. And she is just shaking like a leaf.
Salacia, roll resolve. And with what Wally just did, I'm going to give you an overdrive, and you add 5 to your roll.
Thank God. Ooh. That is 14.
No, this was my chance.
And you see, there's still chaos, there's still fighting, but it's receding in. It's pushing in. This thing is still fighting for dominant control, but you can see that Salacia has a bit more grip than before. She's not out of the woods yet, but she's fighting this thing with everything she has.
She is now bleeding from the nose.
got this. You got this, Salacia. I'm here. Zeros is here. Feldspar is here. We're all here for you.
Zeros, Feldspar, would you like to do anything in this moment?
I am going to do the only thing that makes sense for me to do, which is this is darkness that we're dealing with. And so I am going to try to use light to oppose it by using a healing spell.
It's a spirit-based healing spell, correct?
It is.
Go ahead and roll aura for me.
Okay. That is a 16.
And as you pour life energy into Salacia, you see the way it works normally when you would heal someone. You'd put healing magic, it would go straight on into them, wherever the wound is, call it a day. But there's not a wound to target. But instead, this sort of light magic forms around the edges and begins pressing inwards against this dark force.
If you would allow me,
Please do.
similar, like what you see is instead of it just being like, this is doing the stuff that we've normally seen where it heals wounds, you see a creature that looks similar to like the bits that you've seen from this creature, except it is made of like lights. And you see like bits of starlight and constellations like shining from its
Fighting with
wings
opposed
and a
energy.
halo.
1000%.
Salacia
You're all
has
you
an idea.
at this point. Just so you know, everyone's at 10 valor because I've lost track of how many incredible things all of you have done at this point. So just assume you're at the max of 10, and if you want to do anything, go for it.
Salacia has an idea in this moment, I think.
Go ahead.
Suddenly, she stops, shaking completely. Virgil,
Yeah.
back up. Josh, what I would like to do is rather than continue to try and fight this thing and force it back inside of me, I would like to attempt to embrace it and control it. And I would like to attempt to shift completely.
All right.
I would like to help with that.
Okay.
I am gonna help them out too.
I look at Ifrit and look at Salacia. Ifrit, if you have any power that can help her, please.
You see Ifrit look down at you, and he bows in deference to the one
Thank
who
you.
controls him, and looks at her, primes its arms, and steps closer. And steps right nearby Salacia. Not physically touching her, but arms at the ready. Clearly ready to do something in this moment. Salacia, go ahead and give me a resolve roll on this one.
Okay. Whoa!
We
Okay.
believe
13.
Okay.
Does it help if I'm still trying to, like, help contain this thing?
I'm factoring all of you in, trust me. We've got you containing with healing. We've got Ifrit at the ready, and Virgil is just providing the heroic power of friendship. All right. Salacia is before all of you. And you see that all the chaos has stopped. As she said, she's perfectly still. And then suddenly, she lifts into the air. And you hear, Salacia, a voice inside you.
We will have you. You will be ours.
Maybe so. But not today.
Insolent human. For 1,000 years have we labored.
I didn't choose you.
None of you hear any of this, by the way. She is just lifted before you. No particular dark energy or anything like that surrounding her. You can obviously see there's magic at work here, but this thing has not made itself known yet.
That you tried to do.
You want it out, right? Door's open.
It is a trick.
Salacia reaches deep into that place inside of herself that touches her bloodline, that touches both of her sisters, Dionira and Cassifia, and touches her mother and every woman going back for the last 1,000 years of the Ophidian Order. And completely opens her senses. The door is open.
All of you see energy erupt from Salacia. Beams of it's light, but it's dark. Not even like a black light. It's, when you look at it, it should be darkness, but it's casting light. It is the most unusual and diffuse energy you have ever seen. It pours out from her eyes, from her mouth, from her ears. It pours out from the palms of her hands, from the base of her feet, from her chest. This energy is pounding outward. And all of you feel this incredible presence like nothing you've ever felt. And you feel darkness, but you also feel Salacia. You see there is a battle right now. Salacia, once more, give me a resolve roll.
That is only a 10.
Zeros, give me an aura roll.
This aura rolls a little bit less. Wait, actually, can I just use can I use an overdrive to add to this roll?
For the overdrive that you use, where you add 5 to a roll, you are allowed to do it. You don't have to call it before you roll. You can just add it whenever you like, as long as you're willing to spend 3 valor.
Well, I have the valor to spend, so I am absolutely going to. All right, that is going to be a 14 for aura.
Salacia, I'll allow you to add 5 to your roll if you want.
Oh, thank goodness. That's 15.
15, 14. Feldspar, go ahead and give me an intuition roll.
$15.
Virgil, give me a resolve roll.
I critted, so that is a 15.
And as this energy pours out into the room, everyone coming together as one. Salacia fighting this dark beast inside her. Letting it out, but not letting it take over. And
Millennia in there. I will not be gone.
but as these dark ropes of energy begin to form out around her, dark tendrils of energy begin surrounding her, wrapping slowly around her arm, slowly around her other arm, around her legs, around her body, around her head. Zeros' healing magic creates an equal yet opposite tendril, wrapping around the same, striking at different points all around the body. Ifrit, with almost surgical precision, holds out one finger and individually, at various points on Salacia's body, launches tendrils of flame that strike the black energy. And you can tell these are actually hitting at what are considered the various magic points, chakra points, if you will. Points of strength in the body, as though Ifrit is freeing those points for Salacia to be able to fight. And Virgil is literally surrounded by an aura of light. And you see it just push forward against the darkness and begin pressing against all these dark points until they all begin to amass at various points. And you see a head come forth from Salacia's chest. The head of a dragon, made entirely of darkness. And it gives an otherworldly screech.
No! No! No!
And it pulls back into her body, and as it does, all of that dark light pouring out from the room recedes and then bursts out. And standing before you is Salacia, who has two wings of dark energy extending from her back. Each of her hands extends with dark energy like a clawed gauntlet wrapped around it. And she has a dark wreath around her neck made of almost like a black flame. And you can tell that in this moment, Salacia is fully in control.
Sapphire, was it?
There is no color left in this woman's face. Now, they're Feldspar's half-siblings, so they're not, like, fully white. but they are fucking drained. Just abject terror at everything that just occurred and the storm they have walked in on.
There's a secondary tonality to Salatia's voice now. Feldspar.
Salacia.
What do you want to do with them?
I'll look at them. What is Morganite doing? I want to know what this little jerk is peeing his pants.
He's both of them have been terrified. Neither of them expected any of this to happen, and so both of them are just, they are standing. Give me an intuition roll real quick.
Me?
Yes.
15.
You
Keep
can
rolling eights.
you can see close enough to see Morgan's hand is just vibrating and play. To call it quivering wouldn't be accurate. It's vibrating. He has lost full control of the moment, and he is just in abject terror.
They've tampered with things beyond what we should. But they are still blood, as thin as it may be. Let us see what the church wants to do with them.
I think that's a lovely idea.
It's Sapphire. No. I'll tell you.
Hush.
I'll tell you. Please. I'll tell you. It's
Tell me what exactly?
we were given this. He said it would. He only said it would break your mind. He never said anything about that darkness.
Break my mind. As if that's any better. I'll snatch whatever it is in her hand.
It was the black stone she used. In other words, to burn
and
it.
this is the only thing you obtained. This giant book of necromancy didn't teach you anything.
No, we swear. The only language, the only magic we've learned, where they've been harnessed for dealing pain. That we nothing else. We swear.
Necromancers are stupid. I told you. You're greedy, and your greed blinds you. And you never think about the fact that something older and hungrier could come and find you. You should think about that from now on.
And you see Morgan and Sapphire are holding each other's hands, and they're beginning to inch backwards towards the door.
Ifrit. Block them.
And the giant fire demon Ifrit casually walks behind them and stands in their way.
Do you know what I think? I think the two of you owe my friend an apology. And I hope it's a genuine one for your sake.
No. What they did is unforgivable.
Of course it is. I just want them to have to say it.
But I cannot deny that my mother killed their father. Our father.
And that's her crime.
Who gave you the stone?
The robed man. He was. He had. I never saw his face. He covered it with a mask. It had a skull. He said his name was Anatolos.
Of course it was.
Same guy that worked with.
Perhaps not the church. Perhaps it's an even greater punishment. That scroll there on the table. Points to a blank scroll. You will cede all of your rights to the Duchy of Alexandros to me.
You see...
Your aunt will have me as her heir.
You see Sapphire and Alexandros look up. Sapphire and Morgan look up at Ifrit. Look over at Salacia. And look at you. And just slowly begin going over to the table. And you see Morganite hastily scribbling on the page. Looking at the giant fire beast and then back over at the, as far as he can tell, dark demon dragon woman next to him.
Salacia winks.
And then you see he hastily scribbles at the bottom and then shoves it over. And Sapphire also signs.
I snatch it. Remember this. As of right now, any rights to nobility, any lands, jewels, any power that you have, anything you can have in the future, is at my whim. Go.
And the two of them bolt, just immediately dash out of the room through the door they came in, to be specific, and just like as they're going, like shut the door behind them, like boogieing.
Ooh. So,
Right, I don't feel like having to explain this, and I just dissipate all the magic I was using earlier.
Silesia, are you alright?
I think so. I don't know that it's a permanent solution, but for now, it seems satisfied.
Seems we all have our secrets that we need to discuss.
It would
I'm going
certainly
to...
seem that
I'm
way.
sorry, go ahead.
It would certainly seem that way.
I know I'm going to regret leaving them alive. But I don't want to do to them what they did to me. And even sending them to the church seems like a cruel fate. I don't even want this.
I think it's awfully big of you to give them a second chance. And if they waste it, we'll find them again. Because their nobility isn't the only thing to take from them.
Well, I suppose they're not technically nobles anymore, so... at
They
the
are
very
by
least-
blood, but not in title. I believe they will be stylized. What do you call it?
Well,
Lord and Lady?
I suppose if you decide to take that from them, we won't have to worry about who we throw punches at.
Shall we see what was behind that door?
I think we might as well.
Virgil, are you alright?
Virgil is kind of looking at Salacia for a moment, and he brings like as he's looking at her, he like kind of instinctively just brings a hand brings his left hand up and covers his right wrist, just rubs it a second. He's like, yeah, let's get going.
I'll catch up. I'm gonna try and do something about this.
For all of that work you did to get here, maybe you should, if it can be enjoyed, I suppose, enjoy it for a bit.
Ifrit, stay and protect Silesia. Please.
Thank you.
Silesia, go ahead and give me a resolve roll.
No.
That's an 8.
Okay, I can tell you that fails, but you've used 2 overdrives, so almost by definition you still have enough because I said everyone was at 10 earlier. I'm allowed to let you know that fails, but you can do 1 more overdrive with what you got left if you want to see if that's enough.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. So going to a 13, I'll confirm. My target number was 12. So you feel this force inside you. You are not fully in control. But there is it's always been combative, but you can feel there's an element of fear now because it knows that you won. And so when you try to go back to normal, it does willingly recede back into you, and the energies go back into your body without putting up any battle.
And I will nod to Ifrit, and he'll catch up with my friends.
Ifrit nods to you, gives you a little thumbs up. And then, at this point, given the nature of summoning magic as it is, with Feldspar having walked away, Ifrit pulls up both hands and disappears in a cloud of flame that sinks back into the ground, leaving... It almost looks like all the cracks in the stonework light up a bright orange, as though they're hot magma for a bright moment before receding to a dull, cold gray. I'm assuming at this point you follow along with the party?
Yep.
And as you all go through that door, you see a set of stairs up. And it leads up to what just looks like a flat wall. But as you push it, it opens into a bookcase. And you can very clearly see there is a bit of a path where it's very clear 1 or 2 humans charged out, shoving whatever might have been in their way out of it. Chair to the side, table to the side. You know, some amount of people, who knows, leading out through the front door, which is now conspicuously wide open. But as far as you can tell, you walked into a normal study in a manner.
I doubt that this manor holds any more secrets than what we've already seen. We should get back to Fallon.
Make sure she's all right.
You want to give this place like the look over tomorrow?
Perhaps, yes.
Besides, it's yours now. You should think about redecorating.
Sadly, this house is not mine. It's in Marigold's possession. They could only cede over their right to Alexandra's lands, which are currently ruled by my aunt. She's much more agreeable, I promise.
Is there a liquor cabinet nearby?
Give me an intuition roll.
That's an 11.
Yeah, you're in a study. There is a desk there. You go one of these. Pop open a lower drawer, and you do see there's a little bottle of reserve there.
Oh, he pulls out the bottle and he uncorks it and he holds the bottle out to Feldspar. Well, I say we toast this place. Gotta christen it and give it a nice, good, warm welcome after getting rid of all the bad air.
I don't normally partake, but why not? And she just goes, "Ooh."
You don't drink it that hard, but
No, it
I
tastes
think you definitely
awful.
do. I think you definitely do.
Tastes terrible.
Oh, Felds. Oh, no.
Whoa.
Oh,
It's like my
boy.
mouth is on fire.
Yep,
and the
that's
fire
it.
tastes like that.
Yep, that's it. That listen. Oh, and yeah.
It's like I'm licking an oak barrel.
Virgil, do you mind?
Yeah,
Can I
go
just,
right
like have like a sip and pass this distillation.
Salacia will absolutely knock some back smoothly.
Virgil takes the rest and knocks it back. Well, let's all say this: a toast to Feldspar, Alicio, and
To Feldspar.
the airing out of bad air in this old manor and bringing in of good air.
And to Salacia.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what you're dealing with, but I hope we can help.
Well, maybe if we keep drinking, I'll tell you. Seems like we have a lot to talk about these days.
And as our heroes take a celebratory drink, having done what somehow, despite some very wild and exotic choices, having done what can only be considered completing their mission. Our heroes toast to their good wind before continuing back to meet up with their last team member. And I'm going to let you, as players, know, as well as the audience. I stated it in the first episode that our heroes were level 3, but congrats, heroes. Everyone's going to level 4 as of the next episode. And we will extend that to Fallon as well. Fallon, was busy doing push-ups back in the hotel room.
Doing PR.
Right, something. So, we're going to wrap today's episode of A Tale of Two Lions. Yo, everybody good? Everybody all right?
Yeah,
That was great.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I warned that we were going to go to some deep places today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
No,
So-
I'm jazzed.
I'm jazzed.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
me too.
So good.
I'm glad. Woo! Because I've been worried. So, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us tonight. As per usual, let me give one last shout out to our sponsors before I have y'all properly close it out for us. First of all, I want to thank Valorous Games for sponsoring us. If you hit !Valor, we are playing with the Valor RP system brought to you by Valorous Games. You will find the link there to the Valorous Games website where you can buy the system, which is very fun for RP or for combat. You will find the Twitter for the Valorous Games account where you can keep abreast of everything. And you will find the Kickstarter for the reprint of their Valor gameplay system book, which will be able to correct some errata and some fixes that are needed there, typos, name changes, and the like, and just kind of bring it all up to the perfect standard it should and deserves to be at. And I would love for all of you to please go ahead and give that your support. And as was just noted by Liana on stream, Kickstarter's going live on the 24th. So you can click on that link, you can get signed up to see when it goes live, and on the 24th it will go live. So definitely support that. Also, give a shout out to Adventure. I don't know why I said kit. Adventure. That is Adventuring Kit, our virtual tabletop. It is system agnostic. It is fast. It is smooth. It has a wonderful, receptive dev team that makes sure that anything they get for requests, for information, for changes, things like that, they take into consideration, they work on, they try to make it better. It is a by the players, for the players system. to be quite frank. The dev who made it, I can confirm for you from having talked to him, he he uses it himself. He's had multiple campaigns going for about 5 years now in that system, and basically he tries to go with the idea of, I want this to be the perfect thing for me, and thus be perfect for everybody else. When people bring up more ideas, more ways I can make it better, bring it on. You can go to adventuring-kit.com. The link is in chat. That'll bring you to the website. You can play around with it. There's a free version of it. You can enjoy that. But if you do want the premium with all the bells and whistles, the sound bank, all of that good stuff, you can get 25% off your membership by going with GameDad for the promo code, all caps. That is GAMEDAD, all caps, 25% off of the membership every month that you use that promo code. And yeah. That's pretty much all I got. Oh, and one more time, if I hit an exclamation point, Desi in chat. I am friends with part of the Desi Quest team. We have multiple people in here who know the Desi Quest team. They're wonderful people. They are truly superb, and I wish them nothing but success. I want them to have a wildly successful Kickstarter. So if you click on there, you will see the Kickstarter for Desi Quest. $1, $2, $3, whatever you can give. I promise you it will matter, and it all adds up in the end. I don't care that they hit their base goal. I want to see them shatter every single bonus goal that they have. I want them to make a long season, top quality production value, bring in guests, the whole nine, because frankly, they deserve it. And we all deserve the chance to see that glorious game in its full power. And thank you so much, Kev, for hitting exclamation point players for me. Speaking of, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Wally, tell the people where they can find you.
What's up, y'all? It's me, Wally. You can find me on Twitter at WALLE132, like the cute little Disney robot, and I'm talking about all the stuff that I'm in. Oh boy, tonight was so much fun. Once again, this was just such... You warned me this was going to be intense, and it was intense in all the right ways. It was just that really good power obsession, and I loved it. Choices all around. I'm going to toss it over to DK for the next one.
That is me. I'm DK, and as we all probably guessed about me, I have a dark dragon spirit inside of me. It's canon now. You can find me at Abadarlings on Twitter, being honestly probably just being really jazzed about this episode for a couple hours, and maybe talking about other things, but mostly this for now. Persephone?
Hi, I'm Persephone. You can find me at Persephiroth. That's PERSEPHIROTH on Twitter, Twitch, and a few TikTok and YouTube, but those don't update too often. I am so jazzed about this game, y'all. This is really, really, really fun. You can catch me on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays streaming on my channel Persephiroth on Twitch. We're doing Elden Ring right now, and maybe a few other things, and like makeup and drag stuff and all that sort of thing. Also, check out Shakar tomorrow because I'm in it. 6 p.m. Eastern.
Please,
6 p.m. PST.
Plus, Shakar's a great show.
And I've lost track. Let's go to Sin.
Hi, my name is Sinziak everywhere except for Twitter because weird things happen. Anyway, player games.
It's Sinziak Beta on Twitter, just so you know. You gotta see it.
Player games, enjoyer of stories. Also, I'm very much enjoying this episode and the secrets that come, because now everybody has to go, okay, so what was all of that about? And I'm ready for that episode. While we're breaking watermelons on the beach in pure anime fashion.
Yeah, the next episode next episode is beach filler, chat, just so you know.
Anime Beach Day.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to see Feldspar in a bikini because she's flat-chested, she's just flatness personified.
I just pictured her in like those old 1940s bikinis with a big old... And she's
That's
just
honestly
wearing
what she would
glasses.
probably wear.
Yes.
Very modest.
Then Virgil just walking near her and just the anime back slap moment. Yeah, absolutely.
In a Speedo.
Oh, he's totally wearing a
Absolutely.
Speedo. No, he's wearing... Yeah,
Oh,
he's
of course
wearing a
he is.
Speedo. Yeah, totally.
And of course, even she's not here, but we give full love and support to our 5th cast member, who will be here moving forward, obviously. Lexi, aka Black Girl Mage. She plays Fallon, our resident machinist, who will have some fun stuff to play around with and teach you all about when we see her on the next episode. Hint, hint. But
Especially
Lexi can
because
be
we brought
found.
her some stuff back.
Yes. Lexi can be found at twitter.com/blackgirlmage and also at twitch.tv/blackgirlmage, where on Wednesdays she does her wonderful Strixhaven HBCU campaign known as StrixU. Wally is also in that campaign.
Y'all should watch it. It's fucking great.
Yeah, so just wonderful times all around. And there's me. Hi, I'm Anoriand. I'm Josh. I am your storyteller. I hope y'all really enjoy this because I know I sure did. And I am so very grateful and thankful to have these wonderful, awesome people to play with every week. And I'm going to be really sad when it's over, but we're not going to think about that. We're going to enjoy what we got right now because we still have several weeks to get through. Like, we got some trauma to work through, y'all. We're going to get there together as a team. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. Who's live right now? Let's bring some love somewhere.
Black Crystal's live.
Black Crystal is live, and I'm gonna go ahead and give that girl some love because she's wonderful. And I know because I've literally knew her years before either of us ever did all of this dang
Internet
what
crap.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in like shows together, right?
Yeah, we've physically done community theater over a decade ago. She's wonderful. She's
physical space?
Yeah, and that's why I can confirm she's truly a wonderful human. I know her personally. She's great. I'm not gonna drop her real name or anything because I'm not gonna dox people. But yeah, I'm just telling you, she's truly that good of a person. So let's go show her some love. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Central Time. I'm going to be playing some games. I'm going to be having some fun. I'm going to be doing some cool stuff. But we will be back next Monday, as per usual, 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, if you didn't get to see everything in the episode, you came in late, anything like that, the VOD will be live on Thursday at 9 a.m. on YouTube. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. And I hope y'all have a great night.
Bye, y'all.